What's going on, guys? MariK here, back with another Dragon Ball Super video. After all the amazing reveals for Blue, I thought that would be the end of it, but no, Bandai has come through for us today and dropped a bomb on us, full of all kinds of awesome reveals for the upcoming Set 5, and even for the new Nationals as well. We've got Super Rares, we've got Dash Packs, we got Tournament Packs, we got Prize Support. Let's jump right into it. First up, we have the red super rare Yamcha at 100%. He's a 3-cost, 19,000 power. His activate main is once per turn for burst 5. If your leader card is a red earthling, for the duration of the turn, this card gains 6,000 power. It can't have its attack negated and deals 2 damage to your opponent's life when it KOs an opponent's battle card. So, it's basically Gohan. It's basically a 3-drop Gohan for red earthlings only, but he goes up to 25,000 power, and his attack can't be negated. Can still be blocked, but can't be negated and deals the 2 damage to your opponent. That's actually really good, and I'm happy to see Yamcha not only got some love with this set, but got a super rare no less, and it's a good super rare. Like, it's not even like it's mediocre. No, this is actually a good super rare. And to be able to spam this along with Gohans in red, and you're just dropping them left and right, that's going to be terrifying, especially if you run them with, like, red-yellow and a bunch of cards that put your opponent's cards in rest mode. God, I don't even want to think about all the crazy things we can do with this support. Actually, yes, I do. We're going to work on more deck lists today. Up next, we have Infernal Chain Janemba. He's a 5-cost, 25,000 power with critical. When you play this card, you can't play Infernal Chain Janemba for the duration of the turn, so to prevent a whole loop of shenanigans. And his activate main requires Sparking 10. Place this card at the bottom of its owner's deck. If your leader card is Evil Incarnate, which is Janemba, choose up to 1 Janemba card from your warp with the energy cost of 4 and play it. So, with the support that we showed in the previous video, you're going to play the demon. He's going to go to the 3-drop. He goes to the 4-drop. The 4-drop will bring out this one. And then this one can bring out either that 4-drop or another 4-drop. Since there are a few other 4-drop Janembas that we're about to show you in this video as well. The Janemba support's crazy good. There's not enough of it to build an entire deck just of Janemba stuff. But there's enough of it with all the crazy blue support that we already have that you can definitely make good use out of it. Now, because this card has Sparking 10, I don't see you being able to play any Overrealm in the deck, just because it is going to be somewhat difficult to get up to 10 cards in your drop, especially if you're going to be warping them away. So I don't see that being a very solid way to play the deck, but either way, this card is fantastic. Then we have easily one of my favorite reveals of the day. It is Super 17 Cell Absorbed. He's a 6-cost, 20,000 power. Now, he only has 20,000 power, which seems really low for a 6-cost, but when you look at his abilities, you'll see why. He's got Crit, he's got Dual Attack, he's got Deflect, and he's got Auto Sparking 10. When this card attacks, if your leader card is a green Android card, your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand and places them in their drop area. So that means your opponent is going to discard 4 cards due to his 2 attacks, whether they stop his attacks or not. So even if you negate the attack, avoid the crit damage, you're still discarding. I think that is pretty balanced for those abilities, and then him only being at 20,000. Him being a 6-drop is kind of a pain in the ass, but if we get any Union Absorbs or any Evolve cards for Super 17 or for Hellfighter 17, it'll make it a lot easier to play this guy, and that's going to be the focus of my new deck for sure, will be this card, and I cannot wait to see what the SPR looks like. I believe it'll probably be kind of expensive. I think a lot of people are going to be hyped for Super 17, just like I am. Androids has always been one of my decks. Green has been one of my favorite colors for a little while now, and this is only going to continue that trend. Then for yellow, we have Frieza Back from Hell. He's a 3-cost, 20,000 with permanent. Only 1 Frieza Back from Hell can be played in your battle area. Once per turn, choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier. It can't switch to active mode until the start of your next turn. And then once per turn, Sparking 7. If your opponent has 7 or more cards in rest mode, if your leader card is a yellow Shenron and this card is in rest mode, deal 1 damage to your opponent. That's really gross because when you first think about it, you're like, oh, 7 cards in rest mode, I'm not going to have that many battle cards. Nope, it's going to include your energy too, and that's going to be kind of scary. It's going to force you to have to play around him a little bit to avoid that burn damage. But it is going to be somewhat manageable, and the 1 burn damage may not hurt you as much, but it's going to force you to think about how low you let your life get before you, start trying to protect it with negates and blockers or other cards to just prevent damage to your own life. It's a unique ability, and it's a really cool playstyle. I like the mind games that it plays with your opponent. It kind of forces your opponent to decide how they want to play their cards just in case you drop this card. But unless you leave this card in active mode, if it goes to rest mode, it's going to die. And it has to go in rest mode to get the ability. So it's not going to live long unless they put all their resources into protecting it. It's 20,000 power, so that's not too terribly low. But it's a new, interesting burn mechanic that already goes with Yellow's immense amount of control. Then for Black, we have Black Master Saiyan, the Devastator. It's a 3-cost, 19,000 power with critical. During your turn, if your leader card is black and there are a total of 15 or more Saiyan cards in your and your opponent's drop areas, when this card's attack is negated, or when this card fails to deal damage to your opponent in a battle with their leader card, choose 1 card in your opponent's life and send it to their warp. So, either way, they're losing that card, no matter what. Whether they just let it go to the drop with critical, or whether they just let it get warped away and then it serves even less of a purpose unless they have cards to get things back from the warp. So it's a really cool ability that kind of forces your opponent to choose, but it does have that stipulation that you have to have 15 or more Saiyans in both drop areas, which is not terribly too hard since a lot of the best cards in the game are Saiyans. It'll just kind of be one of those things where you have to pick and choose your battles. Then we have our special pack promo. It's Reality Bender Janemba. He's a 4-cost 20,000 with crit and deflect. And if your opponent has 4 or more energy and there are battle cards in your opponent's battle area and no battle cards in your battle area, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 3, so he becomes a 1-drop. That's going to be nasty later on in the game. And at the end of your turn, place this card at the bottom of its owner's deck and place 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck in the drop area. I don't know why he wants to warp away. I mean, he does go to the bottom of the deck, so you can use that for the Janemba cards, but you have to wait till your next turn to do so. And I'm not really sure where placing 2 cards on your opponent's deck in the drop area hurts them, especially because it's either going to, unless they've got really good cards that you happen to mill, which is just, random for the most part, unless they stacked their deck with cards like Time Patrol Trunks, but you're either helping their sparking abilities or you're helping their overrealm potential. So, in a way, you're kind of helping them out too, but at the same time, I don't know. He's a 1-cost crit, 20,000. That's gross. And if you could keep playing him because, for 1 energy, and you have to have 4 or more for his ability anyways, you could drop 2, 3, even all 4 of them, and then at the end of your turn, they all go away, and then 8 cards off the top of your opponent's deck. It's kind of cool, gives a little bit of a deck destruction effect, but we'll just have to see how well it does. Then we have Gogeta Hero Revived. He's a 7-cost, and it looks like he's going to be either a super rare, that could be an SPR art, but I'm pretty sure that's probably just the basic super rare. But that does mean that they've only revealed 1 of each of the super rares, and I'm not even sure that was intentional, because the super rare reveal isn't until next Friday on the 12th. So either this was just kind of like a way to get people a little more hype about the super rares, especially with the Super 17, or it was a mistake on their part and they weren't really intending to reveal them. So we do know 2 of the blue super rares, but we will have to wait until next Friday to figure out what the rest of them are. Up next, we have the Dash Packs for Set 5. The first one is Fortuneteller Baba Earth Seer. She's a 1-cost, 1,000 power, and when you play this card, choose up to 1 of your Earthling cards in your leader area or battle area, and it gets 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. And then when you combo with this card from a battle area, draw 1 card, then choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So it's a neat little ability that will allow you to KO 1-drops. which is really nice because there's a lot of one-drop support that is going to be just causing all kinds of chaos in the set 5 meta, along with what we already had in the game. And this gives you it gives you a way to boost your leader while also giving you another card to draw. So it's another one drop that's going to let you draw and, you know, add some additional pressure to your opponent as well. It also isn't leader specific unless you want to target your leader, then it has to be an Earthling. But we have plenty of good Earthling leaders to be able to choose from. But other than that, it doesn't care about the color or anything like that. So you can play this in a variety of decks that you're running red in and get boosts and KOs and free draws for 1 energy. Then this is something new. We actually have a leader as one of the Dash Pack promos. And it's Janemba. So we have a second Janemba leader to go with the second Gogeta leader that we'll be getting later in the year. Its permanent says you can't include cards with an energy cost of 5 or more in your deck. When this card attacks, draw 1 card and place 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck in their drop area. That's already disgusting. So first of all, you don't have to attack a leader to get the draw. And second of all, you mill 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. That is stupidly good. Why? Why are they doing this? Why? I get it, Janemba is a fan favorite for whatever reason, but that's a bit much. He should at least have to attack a leader card to be able to do that. And on top of that, you get to draw and you get to mill. Like, that's just gross. On the Awaken side, we have Relentless Speed Janemba. When this card attacks, draw 1 card, place 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck in their drop area, so it's still doing the milling. I'm not a fan of that at all. And when this card is attacked, you may place 1 blue card from your hand in the drop area. If you do, negate the attack and negate the skill for the duration of the game. So he gets 1 free negate that basically you can't stop because you can't counter it because it's not a counter card. Which is kind of cool. It gives him a way to, I guess, like, phase out for the attack like he would during the movie. But overall, I don't think this leader is very impressive at all. I think his ability to draw attacking anything and mill your deck is kind of shitty. But I don't know. I feel like the set 5 Janemba might be a better leader. But I think we'll see people playing both leaders quite a bit. Then we have Inferno Forged Hellfighter 17. He's a 3-cost, 19,000 power with dual attack. Nothing too special here unless there is a way to give him like critical or double strike. But I'm hoping that he'll also get to be able to be used for some type of Union Fusion to get to Super 17. He is an android and machine mutant. His character is Hellfighter 17, so you won't really be able to use him with the Android 17 leader to get a 2-cost 19k out. But since he only has dual attack, it's not really that big of a threat. Hopefully we'll get better support once they finally reveal green for this card to be a lot better, but for right now, it's just kind of okay. Then we have Negating Fist Super Saiyan Blue Son Goku. He's a 2-cost 15,000 counter attack. Play this card and negate the attack, so you still play it for 2 energy. And then activate main for 3 yellow. You can place this card in your drop area. Choose up to 1 yellow skillless Saiyan battle card with an energy cost of 3 or less from your deck or drop area and play it. So he would let you play the championship yellow Goku GT card. Which I guess that's kind of okay, but what are you really going to do aside from the fact that I guess you could attack with the Negating Fist, and then once you are done with the attack, you could, I don't know, you could attack with him, and then it's still a 30,000 power attack, which is not terrible, but at the same time, it's not super threatening either. Because it's just 30,000 single strike, no additional effects. It's a neat ability, but I don't really see the point in it. Then we have our first number-specific Dragon Ball. This is the 1-star Dragon Ball. It still has the Dragon Ball trait, so you can have as many copies as you want as long as you don't exceed 7. And if your leader is a Shenron card, draw 1 card, then choose a card from your hand, place it in your drop area, and then your opponent chooses a card from their hand and places it in the drop area. So you can use it to kind of keep your opponent's hand down. I'm going to assume that this card was made particularly for the Super 17 Wish Leader that we're going to get, it just makes too much sense. Just because the Super 17 cards are all about discarding. That's kind of Green's theme anyways, and I think this is going to be another card that will help that theme. And I like that. And plus you get the draw card, so you still get the draw effect that makes this card balanced. So you're not just playing it for nothing. So all in all, there's no card advantage to be gained. You just drop yourself and your opponent down one extra card, which in this game, card advantage is a huge ordeal. So being able to get rid of even one card is fantastic, especially when you can couple it with all of the green hand destruction support. Then we also have the Tournament 5 promos revealed. The first one is Everybody's Pal Yamcha. That is actually the card name. That is not my name for it. It's a 2-cost, 15,000 power. When this card attacks, look it up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose an Earthling among them and add it to your hand. So it's a free +1 for you. 15,000, that's pretty good for a 2-drop. And getting to see more Yamcha support. I don't think anybody is mad about that. Then for blue, we have Demon Sword Janemba. It's another 4-drop Janemba, so it's going to combo perfectly with all the other Janemba support. In set 5, he's got critical and deflect, as the other ones do. And his activate main says, place this card at the bottom of its owner's deck, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, send it to its owner's warp, and place 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck in their drop area. I really don't like Janemba. It's a lot of make your opponent mill stuff, and I don't like that. I don't like that. Plus, it just says choose an opponent's battle card. Any level. Doesn't care the color, doesn't care what mode it's in. Like, it's just gross. Janemba is going to be really annoying, and I think Janemba could really honestly be a top tier deck with all the support that he's getting. Then we have Hypertraining Super Saiyan Son Goku. He's a 2-cost, 15,000 with activate main for 1 green energy. Place this card in its owner's drop area. Choose up to 1 green skillless battle card with an energy cost of 2 or less from your deck or drop area and play it. Then shuffle your deck if you look through it. I'm not really sure what the point of that is, because as of right now we haven't seen what green does yet. And while we do have some green skillless battle cards, it has to be a 2-drop or less, so you could play like the Yamcha from Union Force. I don't know. I don't know what the point to this Goku is and what his effect is. It might be really shitty, but I'm sure we're going to see some green Goku support in set 5, because we already know that aside from Super 17, the other green leader is going to be Son Goku GT. Then, speaking of Super 17, we have Super 17, the Infernal Machine. He's a 4-cost, 20,000 power, and this is already my favorite promo card that we are getting in Set 5. He's got Double Strike. His attacks cannot be negated. And when you play this card, you can choose 2 cards in your hand and place them in the drop area. And if you do, your opponent also chooses 2 cards in their hand and places them in the drop area. I am loving what we've seen so far just from the 2 cards for Super 17. He's literally going to be Cell on crack. And if you can play him along with Cell, if you can actually build a coherent, consistent deck focusing around Cell and the Super 17 cards, it's going to be murder. It's going to be terrible for your opponent. And honestly, I'm going to love it. I love the Android support. They're always getting just awesome cards to play. And you could even play the Super 17 support with the Android 13 support as well. There's just so many things you can do with it. This is going to be my favorite tournament pack, and I have to have 4 of these foils. I'm going to be hitting up my teammates. I'm going to be hitting up everybody at locals. I don't want to have to buy them, but I'm willing to make some deals to get myself a foil playset of this beautiful bastard. Then we have Frieza Striking Back. He's a 3-cost, 15,000. When you play this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. And when this card KOs an opponent's battle card, choose up to 1 yellow skillless Frieza's Army battle card with an energy cost of 3 or less from your deck or drop area and play it. And then shuffle your deck. So it'll let you play the new Ginyu that is in set 5. There's also a couple skillless Frieza's Army cards in set 1, I believe. So this would be a really cool card to play with the Golden Frieza leader, because it literally pulls out one of these Frieza's Army cards that you can use. You can swing with that card. It's going to do a decent bit of damage, and then on top of that, you pop it, and then reset 2 of your energy, draw a card, and you're good to go for a whole other freaking combo of bullshit. like, Set 5 is so damn good. All these promos, besides that Green Goku, are just so good. And I hope the Green Goku ends up better too. We will just have to wait and see what other support we get. But Frieza is definitely making a comeback, and between the Set 5 Shenron Frieza leader and the Set 1 Golden Frieza leader, Frieza is going to make a huge comeback. Then we have our first real Vegeta Xeno card. It's Revived Ravager Vegeta. He's a 3-cost 15,000 with critical, and you play him with Overrealm 3. If you play him with Overrealm, place up to 3 cards from the top of your deck in the drop area. So he kind of lets you play Overrealm and support your sparking abilities at the same time, which is really cool, but most of the sparking abilities require 5 or more. However, he is helping you get there with 3 of them, but then you can also, play combo a couple cards or whatever. So if you're going all in, you can easily get yourself back to 5 or more if you need it. He has critical, so that makes him a good Overrealm 3 card. And on top of that, he doesn't cost an energy like a lot of the Overrealm cards did in Set 4. That's going to be the big kicker that makes this card viable and will actually allow him to see a decent bit of play. Then we have Dangerous Journey Bulma. She's a 1-cost 1,000 power. When you play this card, if your leader card is a Shenron card, choose up 3 battle cards with energy cost of 3 or more in your drop area, shuffle them into your deck, and draw 1 card. Honestly, we need a card like this for cards like Zamasu, for a Zamasu leader. This isn't said for a Shenron leader, but you can play it with any Shenron leader. It doesn't specify the colors, so that's going to give you 5 different leaders you can play her with. And being able to put cards back into your deck that you may need to search out with abilities or to play via other card skills, that's going to be pretty advantageous for you. And her being a 1-cost makes her easy to play and easy to splash in any of the decks. Then lastly, we have the 2-star Dragon Ball. Its activate main says choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or less and KO it. So now this one has an energy cost of 1. So you actually have to pay an energy to play the 2-star ball, which is not that big of a deal. I mean, it's still a 1-cost that lets you, KO anything 2 or less, and there are going to be some 2 or less cards that you want to get rid of. But it is not a free card like the original Dragon Ball. I believe the 1-star Dragon Ball that lets you make your opponent discard is also a 1-cost. So they are not free Dragon Balls like the generic allow you to draw a card. But still, 1 energy is not much to ask for at all. And I think this gives you another option for some decent, really early game destruction. And depending on what you're playing against, with all the people that think veggies are going to make a comeback, this right here is a great veggie killer. And just when you thought Bandai had revealed all that they had, they went ahead and they decided to give us the images for the 5 metal leader cards that you would get for attending and topping and winning Dragon Ball Nationals. First place is going to get the Shenron leader, which, since it is Dragon Ball, Shenron does make a lot of sense, although the leader, obviously, since it's not out yet, has had no time to do any impact, although it did cause a recent errata to the Triple Flash Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Still a really cool leader to get in gold. And then second place gets the Soul Striker. I honestly would rather have the second place Soul Striker leader, because I can play that in a lot more decks than I can the Shenron leader, and I really, really like Soul Striker and just the playstyle that he gives you. Third place gets Pan. Why you would really want Pan? I mean, Pan's a good leader. It's done really well, but Pan hasn't really done a whole lot as of late. Hopefully with Set 5, maybe we'll see more Pan, but more importantly, because of the Super Saiyan 3 ban, other leaders are able to, come back out into the meta and actually have a decent chance at winning. And then you've got I think it's 4th through 16th, get the Super Saiyan 4 Yellow Goku leader. This leader hasn't really done anything that I know of, and I'm not really sure why they made this one of the leaders. And then 17 through 32 get the Cell leader, which I think is probably a better leader overall than Super Saiyan 4, even though I like that leader. But I don't know why they did the Cell leader either, since Cell has done nothing meta-wise for such a long time. At least Androids, the 17 and 18 leader, sees play at every regional, seems to top or almost top every regional. I think that would have been a better leader. Cell is cool, and maybe the Cell leader will get better with more support, but as of right now, it's just kind of not that great. But these are some amazing prize cards to be able to get, and just to have any of them would be amazing in and of itself. They are going to probably go for a pretty penny, though, so anyone that's going to try and sell them or anyone that wants to buy them is going to be shelling out a good bit of cash for these. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for this video. Between the super rares, the dash packs, the tournament pack 5 promos, the world, or the national championship top place cards, there's just so many things that Bandai revealed today, on top of just revealing all the blue stuff. I personally am super excited for all the Super 17 support. This stuff looks like it's going to be amazing and just crazy fun to play. Green has become my favorite color with most recent sets. Blue is still a contender, and yellow's still up there too, but for some reason green, just every time they release a set, green just seems to be the color that I want the most. Let me know what you guys think about the super rares, dash packs, tournament packs, any of those. What are you most excited for? What do you think has the biggest potential to make an impact on the meta? And what do you think of the national prize support? I might still have a chance to get my invite and go. I'm not really sure that I'm going to make the effort, though, because there's not another regional that's really close to me, and then on top of that, I'd have to go all the way to Ohio for Nat, so who knows. I'll just have to wait and see how the rest of this month goes. But we're going to go ahead and get the frig out of here now, and we'll see you guys in another video.